Okay, so need to share the screen. Okay. Okay, so I think you can see the screen now. So we have finished one section of our isn't this working? Just a minute. Okay, so we have, as I told you, um, okay. Okay, so as I told you, we have finished. So we, as in the beginning of the classes, beginning of the course itself, I had told you that we will be dealing mostly with two main sections, which will be itself divided into some subsections probably. One is the turbulence. One that will be include its basics and its modeling. So we did this. We have finished the turbulence part, which is basically dealing with the basics and the modeling. You have now at least a very basic idea of what to expect in this case. In the case of CFD, what to expect. But the thing is, when you study CFD, for example, a lot of it is not at all turbulence. There is another section, a very large section, in fact, itself, which deals with discretization. This is basically this is basically the discretization of the equations of the basically rants or any other term, any other equation like this, all these equations. So the discretization of those equations is another very important part of the studies. This basically does not touch the turbulence at all in that way. We just take we did some turbulence modeling. We just take that Reynolds stress from there and some other parameters also from there, but we don't do any more turbulence. We are finished with turbulence. So that part, and as I told you, you must have felt it also while you're doing. It's a little vague. The field of turbulence is not so much of uh, just what we call as applied mathematics. It's not so much of applied mathematics. It's a lot of theoretical mathematics, which will be very abstract in a way, and a series of abstract mathematical equations. So we did that, and we made it into what we found to be something like some kind of closure to it. We brought a closure to it by doing some kind of turbulence modeling. So that is fine. That part is over. Now we are going to do what we call as discretization. Discretization means basically now you have the equations, okay, that from the Navier-Stokes equations or from fluid mechanics with turbulent fluid mechanics. From turbulent fluid mechanics, you have the equations. You have got the equations. Now what do we do with these equations? Like, how do we solve these equations? That is the part that comes in discretization. So that is what is coming up next. So we are going to deal with discretization. Actually, the discretization started long time back with the introduction of the first method known as the finite difference method. If we have some time, we can go into it, but not right now. Actually, I after some time I decided, I mean, in the course of teaching, I decided that probably spending more time on finite volume method is more productive for you, because uh, very few of you are going to do a PhD in something like an oceanography or a atmospheric science, where the finite difference methods are very much in demand. You are all going to most likely do something in engineering only. So which brings you to the different kind of solution method. The next solution method that comes up, which is somewhere halfway between the two extremes, is known as a finite element method. Finite element method. This I'm pretty sure that most of you would have heard of it. Finite element method is basically a method which is not as new as finite volume method. But so when you were probably doing your BTechs, you would have been familiar. Okay, you are actually very new. You would have studied finite volume method only, but slightly back. When I did, it was finite difference method. So in that intermediate period, you had the finite element method, and nowadays all those who work on it work on finite volume method. So this is basically the current trend, and it is well established. Now nobody goes for finite unless you are doing some kind of Fortran coding. Nobody goes for a finite difference method or a finite element method. Finite element method is still used very much in the structural engineering. In the structural, all those of you who might probably try to work something on structural mechanics, structural modeling, will deal with finite element method. But the CFD, it is fully finite volume method. Nowadays, there is no trace of any of these other two methods. We'll be dealing in our course. What I did was, first I used to do partly finite volume method and partly finite difference method and a little bit of finite element method. Now I completely kind of stop finite difference method and finite element method. We go deeper into what is known as a finite volume method. So this will help you deal with the current CFD problems, like or running all these softwares like ANSYS Fluent. At least by now you should know the names. ANSYS Fluent is there. Then there is a Star CCM Plus. It's named like this, Star CCM Plus. Then these are the two main workhorses of the CFD industry. So this is mainly people work on this using the two equation model, mostly the K epsilon model. It's a K epsilon model is used as the standard in all these cases. This is ANSYS Fluent. Of course, you can also know that in the ANSYS Fluent and Star CCM, there are options for Reynolds stress method also, which is a slightly advanced method, as you know by now. It is dealing with 7 equations, and it directly tries to solve the Reynolds stress, and that is a more advanced form of solution. But so what we do, if we want to work, we means I mean people like me who work in the research field in this topic, we deal with this Reynolds stress method using ANSYS Fluent or Star CCM. But when we are doing projects, basically they want outputs. So you usually just go for the K epsilon model, or the usually we go for the some of these SST K omega model. This is sound to be slightly better than others in all the cases that I have studied for. It is just a personal view. I'm not sure if this is in any way better than K epsilon or not, but it's one which I have found better for ship related flows, SST K omega flows, SST K omega model. So this is what we use in ANSYS Fluent and Star CCM. So most of ANSYS Fluent and Star CCM, apart from the turbulence modeling, which is one part of it, is mainly focused on this finite volume method, discretization and finite volume method. So I think it's only fair that we should now complete our study on finite volume method. And I think at the end of the course, maybe I'll give you a project. You can do a project, a small term paper kind of thing on some project on finite volume methods. By running Fluent, or Fluent is easily available. Star CCM is not that easily available. It's a very costly software, and in some ways I must say also that it is more tuned in for naval architecture, Star CCM Plus, but we don't have it. I'll give you some project on ANSYS Fluent, which you'll have to do and then probably come and just present it. That is at the end. We'll put some marks for that. So other than that, the rest of our course will deal only with finite volume method. We'll have finite volume method. The advantage is that this part we can have maybe even choose the correct answer. MCQ type of questions. I can put questions like that. So we can have some three or so quizzes, and how much is that? It's some for 30 marks left. 30 marks left. we have finished 55 marks. So that is 45 marks left, out of which maybe some 30 marks I'll put for 3 tests, 3 quizzes, 1, 2, 3, which will have 10 marks each, and it will be mostly MCQ. So I'll tell you when we'll have the quiz. And at the end, how much is left? 15 marks, that will be for a project. You can do the project and present it. Okay, so that is the only problem is I hope you guys get access to Answers Fluent from somewhere. Some of you are at home. I don't know if I hope it's possible. We'll try. Otherwise, we'll try to do something to make it accessible to you. So we'll see that.
Yeah, this Fluent student version is available.
Student version is available. Yes.
But the restriction on the number of cells that we can have and the number of faces that the geometry can have. So it ends up being pretty useless finally.
Let us see. Yeah, let me see. If I don't know how many versions are there. Basically, in our department itself, we have so many licenses for Answers Fluent. Nobody is using it now. So I can try to give it to you, and you can, if you can work it on your laptop, it should be okay. Sometimes it won't run on the laptop also. That is a problem. We'll see. That we'll do at the end. Let us start with the finite volume method, discretization. So we will now start with the book. This book, I have told you, it is known as An Introduction to Computational Fluid Dynamics. This book is available in the, I have it actually in the PDF form, Introduction to Computational Fluid Dynamics. The, what is it called? The finite volume method by Versteeg and Malala Shekara. Actually, if we start, we have to kind of go through this book. Up to first 3 chapters we don't need. First 1 chapter is basic fluid mechanics. Second chapter is also some little bit of advanced. Then third chapter is fully turbulence modeling. We have done that. If you read that, you'll understand more or less. You'll be able to follow. I'm skipping all chapter 1, 2, and 3. We straight away start with discretization in the chapter 4. This is the book, Versteeg and Malala Shekara. Okay, so what we are going to start off with is basic diffusion equation. Okay, we'll start with the elementary diffusion equation. You know definitely what is the diffusion equation. We did look at it in when we were trying to find out, air flowing over over a air conditioner. We did a problem. So in that we saw what is the diffusion equation. So we are starting with the basic diffusion equation. So the basic diffusion equation is, first let me write it in the form the book says. Now the terminologies might change a little. Gamma, because the book has changed. Gamma, I'm not using any of the old turbulence books anymore, is E plus S phi. Now I'll tell you what this means. This dive grad phi. Now what is grad phi? Grad phi is del phi. Okay, this is grad phi. This is dou by dou xi plus dou phi by dou xi plus dou phi by dou yj plus dou phi by dou y dou z k. Now what do we have? Gamma into dive of this. Dive is del dot that. Del dot del phi. What is del? Del is dou by dou xi plus dou by dou yj plus dou by dou zk dot this thing. Okay, so this will come here. So that will give you dou square phi by dou x squared plus dou square phi by dou y square plus dou square phi by dou z squared. This is what it comes to. Now to get this, so this is, as you know, into gamma. There is a gamma here, there is a gamma here, gamma into this thing. As you remember, the viscous term in the Navier-Stokes equation was this, except that it was not phi, it was u there. So if it is a tracer, phi is any tracer. Phi can be temperature, it can be the concentration of any scalar, anything, it can be any of these things. So this phi, so when you have, as I told you, when you have u, which is the velocity, your coefficient will become the coefficient of viscosity. When you have phi, that is a tracer, your coefficient will become the coefficient of diffusivity for that tracer. So that's what this is. This is the diffusion. This is the diffusion term, and or what we had in that we called it the viscous term. For the momentum, it's the viscous term. For the tracer, it's the diffusion term. So this is the diffusion term. So this is the diffusion. So we are saying that there is diffusion in the flow. So we are considered a case. Basically, this is a particular kind of case where the flow is steady, okay, which implies that the flow is steady and there is no convection. That's a very strange kind of flow. It means that it's a fluid system where there is no flow as such, there is no convection. It's so you probably can't even really call it a flow, but there is no convection, there is diffusion, there is no pressure gradient, there is no pressure gradient, and there is there is the diffusion occurs, and there is some kind of a source term S phi, which is a source term. So the sum total of this is equal to 0. So divergence of gamma grad phi plus S phi, what it means, it really is that whatever is the source that is being diffused, whatever is the amount of, let's consider it as temperature, source of temperature, this source of temperature will be diffused. Nothing else will happen to it. It won't be convected. It won't be like, it is steady, which means that it won't have a local derivative. It doesn't have any pressure gradient. It's a very simple case of simple diffusion equation. So diffusion term plus a source of that phi is equal to 0. So this is where we start from. Very simple equation. So for what we are doing actually is, first I'll take a very simple diffusion equation like this, with the source term. In fact, we'll start off with just the diffusion equation without the source term. Then we'll have a source term added to it. Then we'll slowly make it into, first we'll do it in a one-dimensional case. Then we'll do it into a two-dimensional case, then a three-dimensional. Then I'll include a convection term in it. Then we'll go into the momentum equation. Then we'll include the pressure gradient term in it, just like that. That is the step by step. And finally, we'll include the unsteadiness in it. So when we include the unsteadiness, when that is over, our course is over. Okay, so that is where we'll end in this. So I'm starting with the basic thing. It is known as divergence of very simple diffusion equation. Divergence of gamma grad phi plus S phi equal to 0. Simple equation. We are going to start from there. Okay. So now we can, let us take, there is in this something known as a control volume. A control volume is a small volume, okay, the dimensions of which I am not specifying right now, but I'll just say that we'll see. In fact, we are going to do that right now. But before that, just let me say that there is a control volume, a small volume in which the fluid comes into that control volume, fluid goes out of that control volume. So, so first of all, in this very diffusion equation, fluid diffuses into the control volume, fluid diffuses out of the control volume, and there is a source of heat inside the source of, let's call it temperature. That means there is a source of temperature in the control volume. Now, first of all, when you integrate it over the whole control volume, when you integrate it over the whole control volume, it becomes, what was this? Divergence of gamma grad phi plus S phi is equal to 0. So now, over a control volume, we take it over a control volume. CV is a control volume. Divergence of gamma grad phi. Gamma, remember, is a coefficient of diffusion. In our previous thing, we have mentioned it as, I forgot what was it. Nu was the coefficient of viscosity. I think gamma was the coefficient of diffusivity. So this gamma grad phi dV plus over the control volume S phi dV equal to 0. So this is the first equation. Over a control volume, this thing satisfies. Then we use, I think it's called the divergence theorem. So when you have over a control volume like this, a dV over a control volume, this can be converted from a volume integral into an area integral. It comes like this. over an area A, n dot gamma grad phi dA, it becomes. So this and this are same. Why it is same is something known as the divergence theorem, which I am not going into. Plus this one, we can write it as same thing, S phi dV equal to 0. Now this one, now if we now let us take a, so this is what we need actually. Okay, this is our equation. This is the equation which we will be dealing with. So that is fine. So let us have it there. Then let us go and see. Let us go and see what we have for a one-dimensional case. Now I am considering a volume which is 1 in width, one in height, and delta x in length. Okay, we are considering only one dimension. There is only x direction. The other two are 1 in unit. So it's not as if it's completely it's basically per unit. We are taking it per unit length in the per unit, not per unit length, per unit breadth, per unit width or height. Okay, per unit breadth, per unit depth. So that is the, so it is for only for a control volume which is just a line, straight line. So there is only a length. So the equation will become that, this equation will become d by dx. Basically the governing equation becomes plus S phi equal to 0. So this becomes the basic governing equation. This is the same thing. This is divergence. This is before this is done. Okay, this procedure hasn't been done yet. Before you do that, it will become d by dx is divergence of gamma grad phi. This is grad phi plus S phi is equal to 0. So basically this will be, now what we do is, let us assume that our domain is like this. Okay. Now it is a one-dimensional domain in which you have two ends. One side is called A, one side is called B, and what we are going to do first is divide this into 5 nodes. Now there is no rule that you have to do it into 5 nodes, but the book has done all the problems with 5 nodes, and the problems, it's easier for me to follow that book also exactly like that. So whenever you are trying to solve it, try to keep it as 5 nodes. It's easier to check. So but there is nothing like that there will be 5 or 6 nodes or anything. It's just decided by your choice. Your computational skill will tell you how many nodes you have to do, but let us put it as 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now they are all equidistant. Now these are known as the nodes. This is known as the, let us call this as P node. This is how we do. See, it's like this. Now once you have a node, what you do is you make a volume like this. This is your volume, control volume. Okay, you make a control volume such that this distance is the same as this distance. Then then this is the next control volume. So second control volume. This is P. Then we go for a third control volume. This is the third control volume. And then one more fourth control volume. They are all equal. I'll tell you, the figure is a bit misleading, but they are all the same length actually. So now here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 control volumes for 5 nodes. Now in all our calculations, in all our simulations here, what we will do is we will keep every control volume length same. Okay, we are not going to make any different control volumes. It is not at all like that in Fluent. Okay, they change the lengths and all that. This is the first step. First step, we have all the control volumes of equal length. So this is node 1. So the node that we are referring to right now, that node we usually designate it as P. The node to the left of it, we designate it as W, standing for west. And the node to the right of it, we designate it as E, east. Okay. And how we define it is like this. The one to the front of that again is an EE. EE, east, east. Okay. This is an EEE. And similarly, for this case, there is no WW. But if there was a control volume here, then that will be WW. The other one will be WWW. And that is how you do it. A P is any control volume that you are discussing. If I'm discussing this, I'll put this as P, and this will be W, and this will be E, and this will be EE, and like that. Okay, you can just get that. So now we have a control volume. We have a node. Just remember these terms. That is the term. This is the node. Okay, this is the control volume, and this is the phase. So this is how we do. Now there are two things. We will have parameters, anything like temperature, gradient of the temperature, many things as either as at the node or at the phase. That is the procedure. So you will have values at the phase or at the nodes. Then the phases are usually designated as this one. If this is E, the one just behind it is called as E. Okay, small e, and the one just to the behind of it is known as small w. So this is W, and similarly this will be small ee, like that. It will go on the other sides. So this is E and this is P, of course. This is E, this is capital E, this is W, small w, this is capital W. So you have nodes and you have the phases. This should be clear.
What is small e?
Small e is the phase.
Okay.
It is the intersection of the two control volumes. This control volume is there here. Now, okay, if you have a doubt because of the drawing is not very clear, this length is known as the length of the control volume. Okay. All these lengths of the control volume are same. We are dealing only with problems of that kind. We are not going into a different control volume. It becomes you cannot do it. It can only be done computationally. So this is this is the length of the control volume. It's known as the length of the cell. Now, but all you have to do, remember, is properly like this. This node, first node, doesn't come here. It doesn't come at the beginning. First node always comes if this length is, let's say, delta x. Okay. First node comes after delta x by 2. Delta x by 2 here. The first node comes at delta x by 2. Then there is a delta x by 2. Then there is this one is delta x. This one is delta x. Like that. Everything is delta x. So that's what I'm saying. For all, usually what they do is they write like this. Delta x PE means the distances can be different. Delta x between P and E. This is also delta x. The distance between nodes is also delta x. The length of the control volume is also delta x. Okay. So this is the basic definition. This is known as grid generation. This topic, I mentioned it very simply, but this is a very complicated topic on itself. There are a lot of research work going on. So this is known as grid generation. Okay. Now, once you do the grids, then the next process is to do the discretization. Let us see. So this we need actually. If the board was a little bigger, it would have been better. So I'm going to remove this. Let me write it here. Okay, so this is the equation. Okay, this is the equation that we are dealing with. So I am going to take, this is the control volume 2. I am going to take the control volume 2. So this one is P. Okay, so control volume 2 I have taken, and I am going to apply this discretization equation to the control volume 2. This will be gamma A dou phi by dou x at, this is for this, okay, so it is at the east face, at the east face minus that at the west face. How did gamma A dou phi by dou x come? Gamma grad phi became dou phi by dou x in terms of one dimension. This is a one-dimensional problem, so grad phi is equal to dou phi by dou x into dA. dA became A. I have just integrated it, so it becomes A, and which means I have taken basically which area will it be? The area, it will be this area. I hope you can see me. It will be, if the control volume is like this, it is this area. Okay, so like this, like an area like this. So an area like this. Okay, that is an area, this area is what we are talking about. So gamma A dou phi by dou x E minus gamma A dou phi by dou x west is the west face, plus S equal to 0. Okay, plus S, no, S, not S, S delta V is there. So I'll write it as S delta V. Simple integration has been done. So S phi into delta V. I just changed the dV integrated into delta V. So S phi delta V is equal to 0. This is a very simple form of equations you can expect. So this is where we start from. Now there are a couple of things we need to have. That is like this thing. That is, now we need to have. So what is this? This is basically gamma E AE dou phi by dou x at east minus gamma W AW dou phi by dou x at west face plus S phi delta V equal to 0. Now, once you have this, so S phi, so this we have S phi delta V is equal to 0. Now, though I'll contradict many of what I'm saying later, right now all these gammas, okay, means the value of the gamma is basically the eddy diffusivity of that fluid which is flowing, okay, or if it is a rod, I mean, if it is like a it can even be a structure, okay, this problem can be given. This equation is true for a structure also. The only thing is that there is no flow, right? We have considered in the first case that we have considered, I told you that we are not considering any flow. So if there is no flow, then it can as well be a structure. It doesn't matter. Conduction through a structure, it will also follow the same rules. Or if it is fluid, that is also okay. Fluid is not flowing in this case. It is stationary, but there is diffusion. There is no convection, but there is diffusion. So gamma E AE dou phi by dou x E minus this. Now the thing is, all these things like all these things like gamma, the eddy diffusivity, they are all values stored at the nodes, these nodes. So usually you will have the value of gamma at the nodes, these points. So what we do is, when we have to find something like this gamma P, sorry. Usually it is taken like this. This is known as the linearly interpolated. No, okay. This doesn't have a name, I think, as such. So, but basically this is how you do. Gamma E is equal to gamma E plus gamma P by 2. Gamma W, it just says that the value here is the value at this point plus the value at this point divided by 2. Okay, this is P, this is E. So P plus E divided by 2. That is the value at the center. The center, remember, it's all center. Every length is equal. We are not dealing with different lengths. So gamma W then will be equal to gamma W plus gamma P divided by 2, just like that before. So this is the, now as far as we are considered right now, again areas are all same, means the area of this thing doesn't change. Later I'll give you problems where you will have to change the area also. It becomes more complicated. That basically, especially when you have a, when you have a flow through a pipe, for instance, which is becoming larger and larger in diameter, a pipe which is becoming larger and larger in diameter. So if you have a flow through that, that things like continuity equation and all will have to be applied. You have to be very careful when you do that. The flow velocity will keep on changing because of A. Because when the area keeps changing, the velocity will keep on decreasing or increasing as opposite of the area. So that needs to be taken care of. That will come to in the later stage. Right now, the area, it's a constant cross-sectional area, this thing. So pipe. So that's gamma E plus gamma P. This is gamma. Area is all the same. So AE is the same as AW. So for the time being, we'll, in some ways, this delta V, you can write it as A delta X. Okay, where this A is also same. If all areas are same in our case, mostly in the end we will change it. For the time being, all areas are same, so it can in fact be even removed from the equation. Then now what we that is how these two are considered. That is how this and this are taken care of, this and this. Now we come to the other term, dou phi by dou x at east. So what we need is dou phi by dou x at this point. How will you get it? Again, we don't go into very complicated methods or anything. It's very simple. It is the value here, phi here, which is phi capital E, minus phi here, which is phi capital P, divided by delta x. That will give you dou phi by dou x at this point. Okay, which is basically equal to phi E minus phi P divided by delta x. So this will give you dou phi by dou x at E, this point. And similarly, you want dou phi by dou x at W. Dou phi by dou x at W. Remember, don't make a mistake of this phase and node. You have to be very careful. This is basically the phase. It's not the node. So dou phi by dou x equals phi P minus phi W divided by delta x. Okay. Now you have got started with the properly. And then what we have is this thing, S phi. How do you handle this S phi delta V? Now this right now I'm telling you, it doesn't have any very particular reason, but let us assume that the source is linear with phi. Okay, it is just an assumption. You can make your own assumption later. You can say that it doesn't change with phi, as phi is a constant. But what, for the time being, the book has taken, and it's not just the book, it's the whole CFD community usually takes this part in this fashion. We say that S phi is usually a linear function. Later it becomes quadratic function, and it becomes bigger, but usually it's becomes S phi delta V is equal to SP phi P plus SU. We say this is a straight line. S phi varies as a straight line between as a function of P. So this is like y is equal to mx plus c. Y is equal to mx plus c. M is this SP, C is this SU, and S phi dV, delta V, we take it like that. Don't ask me why it is taken like that. For the beginning itself, it was taken as a linear function. So it was taken in this fashion. So it is this, so these terms are fixed, SP, SU. Okay, it comes like this, where SU is the constant term in this, and SP is the coefficient of phi P. The coefficient of phi P is put as SP. That's all. Now let us rewrite the whole equation. Now I'll rub off all this. I think you are now okay with this. So the equation becomes gamma E AE phi E minus phi P by delta X minus gamma W AW phi W phi P minus phi W divided by delta X plus SU plus SP phi P equal to 0. This is our simple diffusion equation. Now what we usually do is we rewrite this in a particular format. It makes things very simple, and remember, okay, we'll come to that later. First, let me explain what this is. So gamma E AE into phi E minus this thing. So what you have is, you suppose you write it in this fashion. So what we say is that in this equation, take all the coefficient of phi p, with this fellow phi p, and call it AP, put it on one side, take all the coefficients of AW, coefficients of phi W, all the coefficient of phi W in this case would be this would be a coefficient. That's all. That will be in here. That is known as AW. The coefficients of phi W are called as AW, and coefficients of phi E are put together as AE, and the constant terms, whatever is constant term, it is in this case it's just going to be SU, right? Everything else will have some phi associated with it. So this SU, so this thing, you write it in this format. Now, from that figure that we drew last time in the previous board, what we did was we saw that the let's see, we do it like this. We have nodes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then here we have A and B. Now what we see is that when I put P as this, okay, this is the way in which the solving algorithm, discretization solving algorithm goes. First, this P is equal to 1. What this, then you write this equation. When P is 1, W is not there, E is 2. Okay, so you get an equation between phi 1, phi P is 1, so phi 1 and phi 2 and the other terms. Then these terms are constants. It's not relevant. Then when in the next case you go to the second control volume, when you go into the second control volume, you are dealing with the node 2. Okay, so then P is 2. So when P is 2, this becomes 2. So something phi 2 equals, it will become A2 phi 2 equals A1 phi 1 plus A3 phi 3 plus SU. Then the next equation will become A3 phi 3 equals A2 phi 2 plus A4 phi 4 plus SU. The next term will be A4 phi 4 equals A3 phi 3 plus A5 phi 5 plus SU. Then you have A5 phi 5 equals A4 phi 4 plus, this will not be there, A5 will be, we'll see what happens to that. Just take it like this for the timing. I'm going to explain what happens there, plus SU. So what you see is that here you have, what you have A1 phi 1 equals something, here something 0 probably, plus A2 phi 2 plus SU. Now the question comes, so what are we doing here? We have actually now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equations, and which are the unknowns. Your problem is basically to solve phi 1, phi 2, phi 3, phi 4, phi 5. Okay, this 5, basically your problem is to find the distribution of phi across this let's assume this is a rod. Okay. So your problem is actually to find the distribution of phi across this rod. A rod is, I'm saying rod because it can be a rod in case of a diffusion alone problem. When you have convection, it cannot become a rod. But for we are right now dealing with only diffusion problems. So when you have only diffusion, it can be conduction. Diffusion, the simplest form of diffusion is conduction. That is the process that occurs in rods or any solid surfaces. So you have basically 5 equations and 5 unknowns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Phi 1, phi 2, phi 3, phi 4, phi 5. 5 unknowns. Okay. You have 5 unknowns and here you have 5 equations. So I am sure you have heard of different methods to solve. You must have seen the what is it called? I can't get it now. There are matrix methods. There is a Gauss-Jacobian matrix form, I think. Gauss-Jacobian matrix solution. So there are different ways of solving for this 5 by 5 equations. So 5 unknowns, 5 equations. You can solve it using the matrices method. It is called, I think, Gauss-Seidel scheme or something like that. That we'll see.
Gauss elimination method.
Gauss elimination method, probably. Something,
Yes.
something like that. Yeah. So 5 by 5, you would have done it. It's the matrix method. Basically, that's what we do. Matrix method is the solution. Finally, the final solution is done using matrix method, but the equations are got using discretization schemes. So what we do is by using first what do we do? First we make the turbulence model. Okay, we see what is the turbulence model. We get an expression for gamma. We see how that in a real world problem, I'm saying you get a distribution for gamma using the turbulence method, and then you use, let us assume that there is only diffusion in that problem. So convection makes it more complicated. We'll do it next. So first we have diffusion. So this thing we have. So what we have the gammas. Once you have the gammas, you have this equation. You write the equations using discretization. So discretization is the process of converting an equation like the partial differential equation into a form like this 5 by 5 matrix. And once you have that, the rest is just solution. 5 by 5 matrix. There are quite a bit of ways of solution. We will just touch on that at the end. Some two, three methods are there to solve the Gauss to solve the matrix method. So this is the metric. So you will get a 5 by 5 matrix and you will be solving that. Okay. So right now we are going to do only till this, getting the equations, but you have to know equations. It looks like one, like if I write in this fashion, like see, I took the equation and so I am giving a equation like this: AP phi P equals AW phi W plus AE phi E plus S phi. So this is actually 5 equations. Okay, this equation in this index notation is giving you 5 equations: A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, and we have to solve all those to get phi 1, phi 2, phi 3, phi 4, phi 5. So once you solve that, you have the solution of the CFD problem, and that's what you are trying to solve. Okay, so now let us see. Now let us go into some worked examples are there. This will give some idea of what it is that we are trying to do here. Okay, it's like this. We are going into a one-dimensional diffusion equation. Okay, the diffusion equation. So one-dimensional diffusion equation, pure diffusion. So one-dimensional diffusion equation. This is what we call them, pure diffusion. Okay, so when you have a pure diffusion, the equation becomes T by dx This is basically the divergence of gamma grad phi. Okay, so d by dx of gamma d phi by dx equal to plus s phi equal to 0. So now the book says let's not use s phi, let's just call it s plus s equal to 0. Okay. Now first problem that is done, you assume s equal to 0. Let's take a very simple case. There is no s. So the problem is like this. Consider the problem of source-free conduction in an insulated rod. Just listen to me. That's induction in an insulated rod whose ends are maintained at constant temperatures of 100 degree and 500 degrees respectively. So you have a rod. So we are dealing with conduction here. Since it's a simple diffusion conduction, we can use a rod case. So this is a rod, and they are saying that its two ends are maintained at 100 degrees centigrade and 500 degrees centigrade. Okay, so this point is A, this is B. These 2 points are maintained at 100 degrees centigrade and 500 degrees centigrade. There is no source. Okay, it is so they are saying it's a source-free conduction. Source-free conduction. So consider the case of a source-free conduction in an insulated rod. So your problem is to find the case when what is the it's insulated means what? It is insulated from the environment. Okay, actually these are all how you make problems more and more complicated. It can lose heat to the environment and it's a different process. That is not there. Here there is only flow like this. There is from like this. From 500 to 100 there is a flow and there is some kind of a steady state reached. So source-free conduction, steady state, whose ends are maintained at a steady state of this. So there is some kind of temperature distribution across this point, across this rod. So starting from 100 degrees centigrade going up to 500 degrees centigrade. So this you have to find what is that temperature profile as it goes from here to here. So the problem is basically this. It becomes so some things are given like the thermal conductivity K. What they do is they are given K as 1000 watt per meter per Kelvin, and the cross-sectional area A of the rod is equal to 10 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter square. 10 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter square. So this is the problem, and the length of the rod is also given as 0.5 meter. So what we have all the parameters now. It's a very straightforward problem, but there is some concept should come here, which needs to be explained. So okay. So this you take down. This is known. This is given. So now let us see what the problem comes to. Okay. So there is this is at 100 degree. This is at 500 degree. So the problem becomes this: d by dx of gamma d phi by dx equal to 0. So this is our problem. Now what we do is this is 500 degree centigrade. Okay. So what we have first, we need to take the rod. We will divide it into 5 control volumes. So I'm taking the rod. Okay, here itself I'll do it. I'm dividing it into 5 nodes first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nodes, and the control volumes will look like this. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 control volumes, 5 nodes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nodes. Now first let us take the simpler parts. Let's do the simple part first. Let us take the nodes 2, 3, 4. There is a difference. What is the problem with node The problem with node 1 is that there is no node to the left of it. Okay. And the problem with node 5 is that there is no node to the right of it. So how we deal with it, we'll come to. First, let us take the simpler ones, 2, 3, and 4. They are same. They are going to be exactly same. The equations will be same. Let us see what it will be. So this is like this. What does this become? This becomes gamma A d phi by dx equal to 0. Gamma A phi E phi P phi E minus phi P by delta x at east face minus phi E phi A phi P minus phi W by delta x at the west face equal. So for node 2, this is your east face, this is your west face. So basically this becomes gamma A, not gamma A, gamma into A into phi E minus phi P by delta x. So this minus. So there is nothing more to do in this. This is very straightforward. Phi P minus 5 W by delta x equal to 0. Okay, equal to 0. This is the equation for node 2, 3, and 4. And if you do it, you will get. You have to. Then what you have to do is you have to. Let us do. I'll do it. Probably otherwise you might get confused. So this one goes. So you will have or did I make a mistake? I think there is a small mistake here. This is minus 5p. This is also minus 5p. Sorry, it doesn't cancel or anything. This is minus 5p. This is also minus 5p. So it's minus 2 5p. So it will be, the equation will become so this will become, if I take this fellow to the right hand side, it becomes phi A, and just for the sake of this problem, it is said that the thermal conductivity phi is K. Okay, it's given some value. From now on, I'll write K then. Phi is K. There is no difference in that. Ka phi E by delta x plus Ka phi W by delta x is equal to phi A, again phi I wrote Ka 2Ka phi P by delta x. Okay, so your AP is 2Ka by delta x. Okay, AP, this is AP. This phi P is, AP is the coefficient of phi P. So it is 2Ka by delta x, 2Ka by delta x. And AW is equal to Ka by delta x. And this thing is AE is also equal to Ka by delta x. So this is how you do it. So only one problem I'll do. Then from now on, I'm just going to write the answer there. So this is what we do. So this is the coefficient of phi P is taken as AP. The coefficient of phi W is taken as AW. And the coefficient of phi E is taken as AE. and your equation is now AP 5P equals AW 5E 5W plus AE 5E. Usually you have an SU also, but the thing is you don't have. In this case, there is a source free conduction. So this is okay. This is gone. Then now what we have is, now see, we have done for the nodes 2, 3 and 4. Now we come to the node 1. This is a slight problem, isn't it? We don't have a node to the left of it. So what do we do? Let us see. The whole thing is just going to be, you will find it's going to be just simple common sense, or what should I say, simple way of doing things, which is what you or I would do if we didn't have any other way to, we didn't know what else to do, means we'll do. For example, what would you do for a case like this? Like, it just use common sense, and if we tried, for example, for node 1, let me change this. Let me take for node 1. Now what will be an easy way to do the node 1? It will be like this. It will be, see, what do we have? We usually have the value at this phase minus the value at this phase usually. So the value at this phase will be Ka dou phi by dou x at this one. So now this is E. Okay, for I'm taking the control volume 1. I'm considering the control volume 1. So this is our P now, and this is E, and this is W. So Ka dou phi by dou x at E minus Ka dou phi by dou x at W, which is basically A. Okay, plus S is not there. So this is equal to 0. So what do we do? So what we can do is, now this one is the problem. Dou phi by dou x at this point. Usually it will be phi at this P minus phi at that capital W divided by delta x. We do not have the W. So what we do is a very simple thing. It's very, very logical. So this one, the first one is like this only. This one minus, this is at the east phase, minus the west phase. What we do is like this. Phi P, this is this phi minus the value at here, which is phi A divided by delta x by 2. Okay, it's a very simple thing. Basically, I also cannot think of anything simpler than this, which is basically this way. So phi P minus, so phi P minus phi. So we are finding the dou P by dou x at this point by this fashion. Phi P minus phi A divided by this distance is delta x by 2. So we say delta x by 2 is equal to 0. That's all. So this is this. Actually, I would like to make you do it, but probably in this kind of teaching, it's not conducive. So let us, it will become something. It will become again AP 5P equals AW 5W plus AE 5. It will be slightly different from last time. I think it will come to, if you do it, you will see that it will become, actually, because of this. So what will be this one in this problem? This phi is T. Okay, phi is the temperature. So if you have temperature here, it is phi A, 100 degrees centigrade. This is the 100 degrees centigrade. So because of this, there is a constant that comes up. So the equation becomes like this. Plus SU, and SU comes, a source term comes not because there is a source, but because of this constant term that we have here. This constant term acts like a pseudo source. It's not exactly a source, but it acts like a source. So this term is there is a source term in the equation now. Even though it was a source free conduction, physically there is no source, but mathematically you are getting a source. So this comes as SU. This comes as, I'll write the expression. You go home and do it. You will get it. I think that that is fair. That is the best way to do it. So it will become AW, AE, AP, SP, SU. So it becomes AW becomes 0. As you can see, AW, this is for the node 1, okay, or what should I say, control volume 1, but I'll say node 1. For the node 1, this is the thing, AW is 0, AE becomes KA by delta X, AP becomes AW plus AE minus SP. SP becomes minus 2KA by delta X. This, please do it. It's not complicated. It's, you just expand that equation. What you do is the coefficient of AW, coefficient of phi W is AW. It becomes 0. The coefficient of phi E is AE, which is this. The coefficient of phi P is AW plus AE minus SP. Okay, why it is so? Because AP, the coefficients of phi P are always, the coefficients of phi P will come from three things. It will come from AW, AE, and from SP. That SP is the extra pseudo source that came for phi. And there is a pseudo source that comes as a constant also, that is SU. You do it. If when I say it, I am not able to explain exactly, but you do it and you will see that a constant term comes. Remember, TA is a constant. T5 is not a constant, but TA is a constant. TA is 100 degrees centigrade. So this will be SU. This will come here as, according to them, 2KA TA by delta X. Okay, 2KA TA by delta X will come as SU, and there will be a SP coming up, because how will you find SP? Do it like this. You take phi P, the coefficient of phi P, you find out AW and AE, that you can find from the equation. The coefficient of phi W is AW, the coefficient of phi E is AE. So you have AW and AE you have. Now if there is something more, that you put it as SP. If there is something more for phi P, in this coefficient of phi P, if there is something more than AW and AE, that you put as minus SP or SP. Minus SP you put. So that is this thing. Okay. And once you have that, then so this, you know, so this is your SP. This is a pseudo source that has come up in both the constant term also, it has come up, and it has come up in the phi P coefficient also. So this is the pseudo source. It is like a source, so it comes there. Now this is how you do the node 1. This is how the node 1 is done. Now you can easily extrapolate it to node 5 also. Similar, very similar procedure. It'll come like this. So if this is your, if this is the rod, you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then for this control volume, how will you get? This will be your east, which is B. This will be your west. This will be your P. This is node 5. Okay, I'm dealing with node 5. This will be capital W. So you will have KA value here, dou phi by dou X at E minus KA dou phi by dou X at W equal to 0. KA, what will be this? This will be phi B minus phi P by delta X by 2. Okay, same as what we did in the previous side. In the previous side you had A, in this side you have B. This is the this is basically your temperature. This is 500 degrees centigrade. This phi B is basically TB, because phi is temperature, that is equal to 500 degrees centigrade. It's a constant. That is what you should remember. TB is a constant, but TP and they are not constants. TPs are to be found out. So this minus Ka into 5P minus 5W by delta X equal to 0. So it comes like this. Then same procedure what we did for the first control volume we will do for the okay. So you have 5P minus 5W by delta X equal to 0. Now let us get the equations for this. Similarly, you will have those equations for A. So you will have AE, AW, AP, SP and SU. So in this case, what they are saying is that it will come like this. AW will come as Ka by delta X. Okay. AE, as you can expect, will come as 0. This is the coefficient of phi E. Phi E's coefficient is 0. So this, and AP comes to AW plus AE minus AP minus SP, sorry, minus SP, and SP comes to minus 2Ka by delta X, and SU comes to 2Ka by delta X into TB. So this becomes the equation. So the equation is like this. You have a APTP 5P APTP equals AWTW plus AETE minus plus SU. This becomes the equation. There is an artificial SU come up. There is an artificial SP also, and you will have AP equals AW plus AE minus SP. This is the coefficient of 5P. This is the coefficient of TP. TP in this case, we are dealing with temperatures. So this is how you solve that problem. Of course, this will give you what will all this give you? You will get an equation for, sometimes I think after we do all this, we forget what we are getting itself. So that it doesn't happen, let us explain explicitly what we are going to get. We are actually going to get equations like A1 T1 equals something plus something, A2 T2, A3 T3, A4 T4, A5 T5. So like this, you will get equation in this also. This will be something like A1 T1 plus A3 T3, and this will be A2 T2 plus A4 T4. This will be A3 T3 plus A5 T5. This will be two terms like this. In this A1 T1 there will be A2, there will be A2 T2 plus something else will come here. It will be a TA will come here, okay, which is the 100 degrees centigrade. Here it will be a 4T4 plus there will be a constant term with a TB coming here, 500 degrees centigrade coming up here. So there will be a set of 5 equations. There will be 5 equations with 5 unknowns. Okay, there are 5 unknowns: T1, T2, T3, T4, T5. These are interconnected. The equations are interconnected, and there are 5 equations, 5 unknowns. So you solve them using the it's a matrix method. I'll I'll explain this much after some time. So this into this will give you the solution matrix. So this, it will come like this. So this kind of matrix solution is there. This matrix method will be used to solve this set of equations. Okay. Now, should I proceed or shall I stop? Okay, I think I'll stop here. Okay, we have to go a little bit. So basically we have the discretization left. It's okay. It's fine. We can finish it. So this will be, we'll continue this in the next class, and maybe the next after 2 weeks, we'll have the first quiz. It will be MCQ. So there'll be 3 MCQ tests, and so 3 MCQ tests and 3 tests. So that is 30 marks plus 55 is over 85 plus 15 marks will be for project. You have to do a project. That also I'll say maybe 2 people or 3 people, 3 of you do a project together, and because you spend your time together and you spend the time properly and do some decent project. What I am saying is do something decent, which means you start the project at least 2 weeks. I mean 2 weeks before the due date. Okay, means that if our classes are ending on April 25 or something like that, you start at least 2 or 3 weeks before and do something proper. And then because why I say this, many of you will be applying for jobs in CFD. So basically doing something in ANSYS Fluent or in Star CCM Plus will help you get the job. So let us stop here for that. Okay. So I'm going to close the meeting. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.